It was International Women's Day yesterday, and I just want to talk about toxic masculinity, boundaries, space, personal autonomy, feminism, and just like basic rights and personal preference. Like, there's so much confusion about, I mean, there's so many men who just imagine that being jerks is, attractive. It's not. It really isn't. It's like you are selling yourself short. You're not doing yourself any favors by harassing women who want nothing to do with you. Plus, a little about narcissists, their designated scapegoat, and golden child. The Jodi Arias or Arias case in astrology. Disclaimer: I fancy myself as an espouser of creative fiction. I don't want any of this to be taken literally or even seriously. These are not my beliefs because my beliefs are not very rigid. They're ever changing, and this is very embellished commentary. It's not supposed to be taken literally. This commentary was mostly my criticism of the tu quoque method of dismissing an idea by using ad hominem offense and syllogism, forging a false equivalency that potentially berates someone or something, in this case astrology. An example of a syllogism that concludes with a false equivalency is: left is the opposite of right is the opposite of wrong, therefore the left is always wrong. Here, a supposed scientist tried to dismiss astrology by equating it with belief in werewolves or barefoot or some other supernatural being, as if the belief in hairy giant people is just, is based on no fact at all. Unwanted footsie and the grab and kiss test in Season 1, Episode 1 of How I Met Your Mother. Being stalked is almost normalized for women, whether it's by men or other women. Police, law enforcement, society in general expect women to just simply put up with unwanted footsie. I mean, if someone just starts rubbing your foot with his, you're just supposed to pretend it never happened, or just set it aside, and you can't report it because nobody takes this seriously. The same goes for being grabbed and kissed, and it's just like, and the idea is that being assaulted, or having to deal with unwanted attention is like somehow like a privilege or something to brag about. And it's like, people are not bragging. We're not bragging. We're just intrepid. We just don't want to deal with it because it's an infraction of our personal space and autonomy and boundaries. Thankfully, Ted Mosby, the protagonist in How I Met Your Mother, had the sense not to grab and kiss Robin, to respect her personal space and autonomy, to let her lead, which is and was a welcome alternative narrative, a relief from the usual narrative of, say, Sharukh Khan's character grabbing a woman and barging in on her while she's taking a bath or shower, or while she's changing her clothes, and just basically invading her privacy while, and then mocking her for being upset about him invading her privacy, and then losing his pants in the middle of a store because that's supposedly funny. And it's just, this is what happens in normal Bollywood, Hollywood romances. And finally, we saw Ted respect Robin's dignity and not grab and kiss her, despite Barney egging him on, goading him on to do so. I think I should be talking about the murder of Travis Alexander now. Both Jodi and Travis's birth natal charts are publicly available with the birth time and place and everything. They were both born in California with Taurus ascendants and Uranus in the 7th house. Uranus is the planet of freedom and unconventionality, whereas the 7th house is the house that represents marriage, monogamous two-person unions. In essence, natal Uranus in the 7th house means a resistance to a traditional form of marriage or monogamy, or the kind of marriage that a family or friends might try to pressure a person into. So it's pretty clear that Travis had no interest in marrying a Mormon woman because he was born Mormon and his family wanted him to marry a Mormon woman, and I don't think he was very religious either. For a Mormon man to evade marriage until the age of 30 is some kind of feat because most Mormon men get married in their tweens. Yeah, so Travis was definitely not interested in marriage, and certainly not, in a Mormon ceremony or something. He had a Venus in Gemini, which means that he liked women who were also seeing other men with, duplicitous women, Geminine women. So Jodie had started seeing Ryan even though she was still sleeping with Travis. Jodie was born with Saturn in the 5th house, which is a very lonely, untrusting, paranoid position. It's like she doesn't feel like she deserves to be happy or in love or to be loved. She's a Cancer sun, so it makes sense that she cares a lot about her siblings and parents even Travis and Ryan and all these other people. I mean, she's just a very maternal, sort of caring, sort of cautious person. And Ryan, oh no, not Ryan, Travis, being a Leo, is a very big, dramatic, generous, putting on a big show sort of person. He was just about the drama and everything, and that's probably why he got his friends to bully her and call her a psycho stalker and things like that. He also, you can see that he's constantly calling her he's essentially calling her his sex slave in a lot of them, his own personal slave who should, come whenever he demands it. No kids of mine are going to have names like Joshua and Reuben, okay? My kids are going to have Muslim names because they're my kids. Really, is Nadia a Muslim name? Because I didn't know half the strippers, Eastern European strippers on the planet were Muslim. No, it is not the same thing because matrix multiplication is not commutative. Commutative. Sorry. Commutative. You want me to say commutative? I always say commutative. That comes naturally to me. I'm poor as a mouse. I'm richer than Midas. You're richer than Midas? You're not in debt? Is that what you're saying? No, Midas. Mr. Goldfinger. You say Midas. That's funny. Midas. Oh, that's because your mother says it like that. Mummy, she says it like that. Yeah. No, it's not. You should hear my mother pronounce things. God, I can't even understand what she's saying most of the time, and I'm her son, so, yeah, and then she gives me that look, like I'm the biggest freak on the planet, like, how dare I? It's more like, it's not even a death stare, it's more I disapprove of you, and I disown you, and you are a creepy person, and your mummy gives you the same look. I know, I'm psychic. I'm super psychic, so I know. If you don't like Joshua and Reuben, what do you suggest we call our sons? Adil and Rahan. I don't want Adil and Rahan sucking on your udders, woman. How about I call you Sherry, or Hope for that matter? Technically, Nadia is Russian for hope, and Sherry is short for Shireen, my second middle name, my only middle name, my second name. So yeah, I mean, how dare you, what a nefarious plan to call me by my names, because they are my names. Besides, for 15 mil a month, you can call me whatever you like, whatever you like, sir. You're gonna regret saying that. Oh, I do regret it. Might have it in my boot. Your car wears boots. My Dicky? Is that what you Brits call it? No, I think Dicky, not Dicky, is South Asian, not British. I'm from both countries. Casually administered death threats. Fine. So you want your freedom? You want to marry somebody else? Okay, fine. Divorce. Triple talaq isn't Islamically valid, and while polygyny is pretty common, polyandry is not. It's forbidden. Yeah. So I mean, there are different forms of polygamy, and yeah, that doesn't work. Fine, you can marry another man, but if he touches one hair on your pretty little head, I swear to God, I will kill you dead. Incredible death threat 2, jacking it off with Jack in the Jacket, jacking it off. If you pull a Sherry, okay, Sherry is a Jewish princess. She has people who care about her. She's from the Upper East Side. You have no one. Okay? Yeah. So, if you pull a Sherry, I swear to God, I will kill you. You wanna die. Okay, fine. I will not kill you first. I'll kill the guy. I'll kill the guy first. Make you watch, because it's on you. And then I'll kill you. Okay? So then you'll be responsible for the murder of somebody else. And I don't think you can live with that. So, live with that. I'm gonna kill you afterwards. Just, that, his death will be on you. And I'll get away with it too. I have that kind of money. See, I'm the Red Queen. I'm the X. You're the White Queen, or Alice. As a woman with a natal Gemini moon, I have the tendency to ramble incessantly, and back to Jodi Arias, or however her name is pronounced, and yeah, she also has a natal Gemini moon, and so I understand why she keeps talking about things. I think it's just how we deal with nervousness. Narcissists don't allow other people to demonize them. I mean, by other people, I mean the public. I mean, not the people that they are abusing, of course, but, the people that they abuse behind, closed doors, and, to other people, they're projecting their role as a perfect mother or a perfect father or a perfect husband or perfect wife, and they don't leave any leeway for criticism from people outside of those they are abusing, and those they are abusing are usually dependent on them and can't really run away from them and can't really do anything about the abuses that we endure, because it's like, because we're so demonized. We're demonized. People who are abused by narcissists are demonized. So, if anything, Jodi would be demonized by Travis, who is blackmailing her, who is saying, I'm going to tell your boyfriend that we're still sleeping together, and he would just, he would write these texts demanding that she come to him or else, and then he called her, his own chattel, his own sex slave. He didn't use that particular verbatim, but it was pretty clear that he imagined ownership of her. She acquiesced. The thing about acquiescence is that it's reluctant. I mean, she was agreeing, but reluctantly, and it was pretty clear that there was a lot of tension building up, and then she did resent him for ordering her about or blackmailing her or whatever and mislabeling her, and he called her a stalker even though he made her sleep with him all the time. He was not a very nice person, Travis Alexander. He was just trying to scapegoat her for the fact that he wasn't ready to get married. He has Uranus in the 7th house. They both do. They both were born with Uranus in the 7th house. It's not a conducive to marriage in any traditional sense. And all the girls say he's pretty fly for a white guy.